What's up, guys? How you doing? My name's TB, and today we're going to be talking about episode 55 of My Hero Academia Season 3. And first off, I just want to say that last week I actually had a complaint about My Hero Academia. Someone actually talked to me about it. I barely ever have anything bad to say about this show, but I felt like what I had to say made a lot of sense to me. That there's not that many fights, and when there are fights, they don't last that long. But I feel like that problem that I had was immediately erased this week because we have a pretty good fight that lasts a pretty good majority of the episode here. We actually are following three groups here instead of just Midoriya and the people that he's with in Class 1A right now. I believe we're following Midoriya, Sero, Ochako, and then we're following at the end, we're following Bakugo, Kaminari, and Kirishima. And then for the bulk of this episode, we're following Sue, Jiro, Momo, and Choji. And their fight is really, really good. Let's start off from the beginning, though, like we always should. Todoroki's still here. He's still fighting the ninjas. I found out what academy they're from. As of right now in the anime, I feel like, I think they've been following 4 different high schools. UA has encountered 4 different high schools so far that everyone has very unique and different quirks, so that's really good. I like the variety there. Todoroki figures out what he notices the fact that they have effectively countered his quirk, his ice and his fire. You're using the water to counter his fire, and they're using the heavy objects, which we confirmed is their quirk, to make things bigger for his ice. So his ice can carry it can like affect a huge range of area, right? But their thing is their quirk is basically to make objects big, so it's not really that big of a deal. But this little mini fight here with Todoroki is actually settled pretty quickly. I'm surprised too. Todoroki is one of the first people so far in the tournament arc to actually take advantage of something that the announcer said at the very beginning, which is that this field that you guys are playing on is really freaking big, and you should take advantage to things like your environment to make the fight easier for you or harder for you, depending on where you are. He finds out that there's this big tank of gas here, and he's like, oh, they said this for a reason. It's probably real. There was really gas in there. He uses ice to penetrate the tank of gas there, and then he lights it on fire, blowing away all these ninja. And then after, they take the damage from the explosion, which wasn't as bad as it could have been, as big as that tank was. He freezes everybody there, and like a boss, he just takes the ball, and he just, he tags as many people as he needs. We don't know if he tags every single person there, but it would probably be smart if he did, right? To take them out of play so they don't come after him later, And we find out that I believe he's not the first person, obviously, to pass. He might be the first person in the UA high school to pass, but what it looks like is all of your targets turn blue instead of red when you pass, which makes sense. I feel like that's good because he has to travel to the safe zone, right, to the waiting area, so people know not to attack him because he's blue. Something also that I noticed that is very important here, and I want to ask your guys' opinion on this. I believe that it's President Mike who's announcing this. It just sounds like him. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like President Mike, and he says that the only way for you to take off these targets is if they come off magnetically. They're a special device to take them off. Oh yeah? Is that true? Then what about Cammy? Last episode, after she turned into Ochako and then she got found out, it looks like she's not wearing anything. They said that she was naked. I don't see any targets on her. Alright? So, if the only way to take them off is magnetically after the test is over, what about that? You see Todoroki showed up to the waiting area, and Inase did not like him. For whatever reason, he notices him right away, looks at him, and he just looks like he's pissed off, like he did something or maybe he said something, but they didn't really have any interaction yet in this, this test. They haven't not really talked at all. Todoroki notices him too, in the corner of his eye. He's there. And after all that, that's pretty much Todoroki's done. So he's out of the test. He's good. He won. We switch to Jiro, Sue, and the rest of the crew there. They're trying to figure out what to do. They're trying to look for the rest of their class to find out if they can actually do anything together, like regroup. And then they immediately get attacked by another high school. Jiro gets her, I believe it's her earplugs. She kind of gets them disoriented because they play some really loud music, which is ironic because we got to see her family, right? Her family's all about playing really loud rock music, especially her dad. But obviously, with her quirk. She was trying to listen to see who was going to come after them or not. She played the music, it disoriented her, and then she got like she had to take a breather a little bit. After that, we see that it's this high school. I'll put it up. Their high school is really hard to pronounce, so I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm just not even going to try to say it. But it seems like the center of this high school is Psycho. We'll see her quirk soon. She's going to get a very interesting character. She is basically the only reason why they're able to pull anything off here, because she's so freaking smart. They try to take down their quirks one by one. First they attack Jiro, then they attack Sue, and then they even attack Choji, because basically his quirk allows him to also get information on his enemies, with his eyes, his ears, everything like that. We have this one girl who looks like she's a sniper, not exactly sure what her quirk is, but she starts taking out these windows one by one with like her little, I guess you could call it a slingshot. She's just taking out all these windows, and then Momo's trying to come up with an idea, right? Because she realizes that she knows that they know all their quirks, because obviously it's already been explained, tournament arc, stuff like that. Jiro wants to just tackle things head on. She's not really thinking about it too much, so she gets hit again, and this time instead of her ear, it affects a part of her suit that helps her to amplify things like she did before when she was helping out the whole entire crew a couple episodes back. And then they start attacking Sue, and this is something else that I found really interesting. She's not the only person who can get affected by a strategy like this, right? They make the room really cold, and then they say that because it went from extremely warm temperature to extremely cold temperature, now her body's trying to go into hibernation. So her quirk is she's basically a frog, She's not 100% human. Her quirk affects her body in the way that she's a frog. There are some other students in class 1A, like Mina. We don't know exactly what she is, but obviously her skin color and her eyes, she's not 100% human. And even in 2B, class 2B, there's other students that have quirks like this that affect their body where they're not 100% human. So I'm wondering if this strategy could work for someone else, or if it's specific to Sue because she's a frog. We don't know. Then we get introduced to Psycho. She starts saying, her plan of her action, what she's going to do here. And right away, she reminded me of Esdef from Akame ga Kill. I don't know if you guys watch Akame ga Kill, but they look very similar in their design. The hat that she's wearing, the outfit, everything. Basically, she's really freaking smart. She has an IQ of 150, and whenever she uses her quirk, she just has to drink, I don't know if it's specific tea or any tea, name brand tea, I don't know. But her IQ gets higher and higher, the more her quirk is activated. And she's different than Esdev, obviously, but one thing that they both have in common is they hate to lose, and they're very confident in their skill. She's very confident. Also, she has with herself this little crew here of girls who treat her like a princess or like a queen. Esdev pretty much had the same thing in the Jaegers who were following her. She was the strongest. So there's that. That's pretty much the end of the comparison, but that's just something I wanted to bring up really quick. And then it's up to Momo to really figure out what's going on, because she figures out that her quirk is probably the least easiest to counter, because you can make anything. She can make anything with her quirk. There's obviously a limit to what she can make because the limits in her body aren't infinite. She didn't have infinite amounts of mass within her. But she gets this idea. And she only gets this idea because she thinks back to the situations where she's been in before, when she's been in a tight spot. And she thinks, what would Todoroki do? What would Midoriya do? What would Ida do? And then this leads her to come up with this pretty good plan, actually, because she thinks for a while, what can I do that's not going to affect everything else and make it worse? She makes this huge freaking sound amplifier, and Jiro still has one good ear, right? One got messed up when she ran out there and she got attacked by the sniper, but she still got one good ear. So Momo also makes some earmuffs to protect from this device that she's about to make. And then the moment that she makes it and they start using this, Psycho's whole entire squad, they drop like flies right away. She's the only one who's left, and then she notices that it's like a high frequency sound attack, and she figured that they would try to defend against what's coming, because they're trying to get rid of their quirks, make them not usable, right? but instead of defending, they attack. They all come in there. Once the sound attack is done, Jiro says it's good. They won. Everyone's taken down except for Psycho. Psycho takes Momo out into the room that they were just in, and she assumes, because she's going according to her plan, that she developed to specifically take all these people out, that she's not able to move anymore. But she saved a little bit of energy in order for her to counter her, trying to get her with the ball, handcuffed her, and then that's a wrap. That's pretty much the end of the fight there. There's nothing left to do. And here's a theme that I like about Class 1A, and even Eraser says it pretty much close to the end of the episode, that they stick together. They try to do things as a team, and for some reason, no one else does. Not exactly sure why, but even Psycho herself is like, why did you come back for your friend? You guys are supposed to think about yourselves if you want to pass, yada yada yada. But Class 1A does things differently. Okay, we're almost at the end of the episode now. We finally see Bakugo, Kirishima, and Kaminori. They're there, and Kirishima pushes Bakugo out of the way. If it wasn't for Kirishima, man, Bakugo would be this lump of flesh in this dude's hands. The other review I did of episode 54, I said that we only got to see Inase and Kami. We didn't get to see the other two from Shiketsu High School. We finally get to see the other dude. There's still one more missing. We haven't seen him yet. But this guy's quirk is very interesting. It seems like he throws a part of his body. It's either a part of his body or something else that he's controlling. And if it touches you, you just turn into this freaking ugly ball of flesh. And then right before we begin, the rest of the fight with them, it cuts back to Midoriya for a second to see what they're doing, to see how they're dealing with the situation over there. And he's doing classic Midoriya things. He's trying to come up with a plan in order for them to pass, because it's over 50 people now. Over 50 people have passed. There's not much room left for people to pass. So what was his plan from the very beginning was for him to subdue certain people, and then when they're subdued, just throw the balls at their targets, because it's really hard for you to take someone out if you don't know what their quirk is, and they're moving all over the place. You could just throw and waste your balls. Like I said before, they only get 6. Why would you throw them and waste them, or risk them getting damaged and then not being able to counterattack? So that's cool. Midoriya wants to make himself a decoy. So Ochako and Shiro, which Shiro has a really good quirk for this, because he has the tape. He could just restrain people, and then they'll be able to get their knockouts that way. So hopefully that works out for them. We don't know. And then that's pretty much the end of the episode. The fight doesn't really begin, but you see Bakugo. he's ready to go. He's ready to go. He wants to fight. And then, like I said, Erasure has this conversation with Miss Joke. Miss Joke thinks that he's worried about his students. He's like, no, I'm not worried. I'm not worried because there's 2 people in particular in this class who have always positively impacted the morale of the Class 1A, and that's Bakugo and Midoriya. And that's 100% true, and we know that because we actually see that happen, and it's not just talk, it's action. Momo thinks back to Todoroki and Midoriya and Ida, not Bakugo, but Bakugo affects certain people in other ways. He's Bakugo, man. What else can I say? But Eraser is 100% right. He is right. They're always there. They're always making things happen. And that's the end of the episode. I really, really, really did like this episode, and I can't wait to see what happens next, man. There's like 54, 55 people left. There's not that much room left for people to pass. And honestly, I want everyone to pass. But I don't think all 20 students in Class 1A are going to pass. But I hope so. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Honestly, and really, I would love and appreciate your feedback. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
He needs some milk!